Stop the insanity!
Doodlebud. Here I'm talking about what seems to be the never-ending pursuit of the ultimate, perfect fountain pen. Just when you think you got it, you don't. There's some that come along and definitely are keepers and are ones you want to have forever, but along the way on finding those perfect pens, you get a lot of other really good pens that you surely thought would have been it, would have been a candidate, and you wouldn't have needed any more. But then you get more and more and more and more and more. And I got a few thoughts on that and maybe some ideas to save you some money as well. So let's get to it. So as you start collecting pens, you come along and you cross paths with pens where you feel surely that will be enough, and nope. Another try, and nope. And you start thinking, well, maybe I need to go old, so you go old. You get some vintage ones. Nope. And what you're trying to find is what's you think is this perfect pen that must exist somewhere. But it turns out to be like the shape-shifting temptress or the proverbial gold at the end of the rainbow. And when you think you have it, you don't. But what happens is you get a lot of these pens and they're almost there, but just not quite. But I was thinking, why not make the ones you have as close as you can be to perfect or almost perfect? Instead of buying another one and probably being disappointed yet once again, take that pen that you got, that you thought was going to be fantastic and solve all your worldly problems, fulfill your needs, but it failed to do so in some regard and fix that problem that it has. So let's narrow it down and talk about some of those pens. So these are my immediate candidates. This was my first Grail pen. I was so naive back then. Oh boy. I fell for it and it got me. I picked it up because look at this. Whoa! How could you not? But I picked a medium. What were you thinking, Doodlebud? You hate mediums, but I bought a medium and a Lamy medium, and they always write wide, so it's too wide for me. So I used it and used it and used it, and just my writing looks terrible with a medium. And so it's been sitting in a box for quite some time, all lonely, no ink, just waiting to get a proper nib on here. And I thought, well, wait a second. I can buy another pen with a fine or extra fine nib to write the way I want. But I have this beautiful pen, the only one that does this, and I just do this all day long. And if it just had a proper nib on it, the one I want, like an extra fine, I couldn't get this pen, without dropping a lot more money. So I'm just deciding, well, you know what? I can get a replacement nib on this thing for around $100. I can't get a new pen with a gold nib and all this cool stuff on it for $100. So instead of wasting the 100 on a new pen that will surely not satisfy me, let's try to get this one as close as possible. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to buy an extra fine nib for this pen instead of a whole new pen. And I'll still have the medium. This is the smoothest nib I think I have, or else it's real close. And maybe if I want, I can grind this to like an oblique medium. That would be pretty cool. Next one. This guy. This is just a gorgeous pen. This Montegrappa Elmo looks great. Looks fantastic. Of course, the color on the camera versus what the pen really is very different. It's white balance and lighting issues and all that. I'm going to talk about that another time, but this is a little more green instead of blue. But it feels fantastic. It's very well made. There's just so many great things. I like the section on it. Beautiful. Great threads. But it's the damn nib again. It's, I just finished washing it. It's kind of scratchy. It has some flow issues. And so I've used it a bit, but then I just cast it away. It's actually in the same box as the Lamy over here. And then there's this one. Visconti Homo Sapien, made from lava. Cool clip. This bayonet. Quick cap system. How much quicker do you want? Vacuum filler. Look at this thing. It has ticked every box. Look at that nib. Let's get you close. Deserves a close-up. But the only thing with this pen, it's too damn juicy. And also it's quite wide. This is a fine. Writes like a broad. So what to do? I think this is too much work for Doodlebud with the gear I got. It's time to seek professional help. I got to send this off to a nibsmith to get it ground down to a proper extra fine, because it also has a nice little bounce to it. This is not a flex nib, but a little slight pressure and you can get some nice line variation. So this, I think, would look fantastic in an extra fine with a little bit of bounce to it. This could be the ultimate Grail pen, but it's just too wet and too wide. Fix it. I can't, for the $60 or whatever it's going to cost me, there's no way I can get a pen even close to this performance and look and everything else of it. So drop the cash, Doodlebud. Get it fixed. I got this Jumbo ACR almost as a joke, because this thing is jumbo. It's very well made. Really cool. Yeah, it's not perfect pen by any means. And as a weird thing, I ordered a double broad. And, super smooth. And then my intention was to grind it to a oblique double broad, because I don't have any, but I never did. And, it's way too thick for my style of writing. This should be ground to an oblique version. So you know what I got to do next? I got to grind the damn nib. Get it to where I want so I really enjoy the pen. So that's what I'm thinking here, is instead of just ordering some new pens with new colors or this feature or that feature, I have some fantastic pens here that if they were just tuned and tweaked a little bit, they would just go way up in the rotation. They wouldn't be sitting in boxes doing nothing. And I'll give you some examples. Oh, look at what that is. Oh my God. So I've done this on some other pens. Oh, hold on. I got to readjust here. Give me 1 second. Now, I know what you're thinking. When you spend good money on a pen, it should come out of the box. It should just write. There shouldn't be any problems. I agree with you 100%. And there's some pens that just do an amazing job of that. Like my Lamy 2000 has never done me wrong, and some of my other pens as well. But there's some pens, like this guy, the Ondoro. It's really good, writes well. It's just a little too back heavy. So there's nothing I can do about that. It's still a good pen. I use it, just not as much. But yeah, this pen should work perfectly. There shouldn't be any problems, but there is. But that doesn't mean just let it be, be angry and never use it again. Let's fix it. Because I bought it for a reason, because I thought it looked fantastic and I like the dimensions, and I do. It just needs a little love. I kind of find that pens are almost like, again, this is weird, but like fountain pens, it's almost like a relationship. You got to nurture them. And I know you shouldn't have to do that. It's a pen. But they demand a lot of attention and care. And maybe I've been a little negligent and haven't given it what it needs. So I'm prepared to fix that. Okay, here we are, example number 1. This is the Pilot Custom 912 with the FA nib. Now, when I first got this thing, my world was just going to open up, and this was just going to change my life. And it did. Made me super frustrated. The thing just didn't write worth a damn. And, I spent some good money on this thing, was pretty upset. But then after I calmed down a little bit, I discovered you can just get a replacement feed from the Flexible Nib Feed Factory. I did a review on this and a talk about this. And they have a proper feed made for this pen. And that was, it's expensive for the feed, but that was the best money I could have possibly spent on this pen for it to now write perfectly. And it does a great job. Another one. Is this the one? Yeah. So this little Muji, picked them up. It's a cool little pen. I mean, it's not like one of my favorites, but it's very well made, especially for the price. But I have lots of fine nibs. So instead, I got another one. And my favorite nib grind is a fine italic. Well, I guess more of a cursive italic, a little bit smooth. And so I did a nib modification to it. Let's zoom in here. I ground it down to that. You can see the little stubbiness to it. Again, I did a video. Check it out. And now this thing, I friggin' love it. It's got just that little bit of flair to it. Fine cursive. Look at that. So much more fun. So a little bit of elbow grease, and the pen went from 0 to hero. So that's my plan. So instead of, I am going to be buying new pens, don't you worry, there'll be more reviews. But these are my candidates right now. It's kind of like if you had a car, and everything's great with it, but it's just sitting there, and your friend's like, well, what's wrong with that car over there? You're like, oh, it needs a new battery. And the answer is just go get a damn battery. Fix the car, get a battery, and get it so you can enjoy it. So these are my pens right now. My goal is within a month, I get these done to the way I want. And I'll do some before and afters with them. I don't know if I can do this one within a month because I do have to send this off. And I'm looking around at nib smiths that would do it. And almost all of them are just backed up where the turnaround is 3 months or 6 months, or some of them are just flat out not taking new orders until they can clear it. So we'll see how it goes. But maybe that'll help you in your pursuit of the ever-fleeting, perfect fountain pen. And maybe it'll save you a few dollars along the way. Just my thoughts coming from Doodlebud. Thanks for checking it out. Thumbs ups, subscribes, I likey. Catch you later.